Name is. Okay, guys. The birds. Yeah, they're just enjoying the food.
I had notes on that. I had a Kleenex that fell.
Leave him there for a minute.
There's the Kleenex right there.
Cheers.
Hooray, hooray.
And he's here rolling in the food, right? He just. Wow. What is it?
That's the store brand, Trader Joe's.
You kidding?
$4 a bottle.
You kidding?
2018.
The wine's so good. Go buy 5 cases for me.
They weren't all 2018s. You just got to pick through them.
Wow. I can't believe it.
Good. They won an award years ago.
Trader
That's how they
Joe's.
became famous. They called it $2 check. They were $2 a bottle back then. They did a blind competition with like 10 wines, and this one won. Charles Shaw won.
Wow.
It was all over the news. It was a big thing.
This is amazing.
Now I want to try the cab, see if that's as good. I'll save this one for you. Like Kool-Aid. It's smooth like Kool-Aid, what I'm saying.
And that's how it should be.
The other one's smooth like cleaning fluid.
The other one nasty. And what country that is? Spain?
Spain.
It's too strong for us.
I told you about the time, if it did stop me. I had to go, believe it, I was in Portugal. I had to go to Spain, to the Navy base in Spain, to get a photograph done from a service record. And I decided I was going to stop at the halfway point. Okay? And that was just over the border into Spain. And I thought it'd be relatively the same. But I get there, okay, and all the menus are in Spanish, which is different in Portuguese country, what people tell you. And I thought the only thing I could recognize was the hamburguesa and the palm frites, which is the hamburger and French fries. And I got a bottle of wine, this Temperino shit, right? Didn't taste that good, but of course I drank the whole bottle. And then I couldn't leave. I said, oh shit. So I'm sitting there, I ordered a dessert and took my time eating. It took about another hour. I got back in the car.
Oh, God. They're singing.
But you remember how they told you in the special the other day about the rivalry between the two that, like I was in there, I says, I'm in trouble with the menu. Do you have you have any menus in Portuguese? No. I said, how about English? They said, no, we don't have that either. But Portuguese, no. Just like that time I told you the elevator story, right? I'm in the hotel getting the elevator. I said, "16, por favor," which is Portuguese for 16, please. Guy didn't answer me. Said it again. Didn't acknowledge me. I have 16, please. Oh, okay. Push the button. I says, you don't speak Portuguese? He goes, I am a Spaniard. He wouldn't push the damn elevator button because I asked him in Portuguese instead of in Spanish.
Oh, God.
Now listen how close it is. In Spanish, it's 16, por favor. In Portuguese, it's 16, por favor. Very small difference.
It's nuts. It's a big difference. Why are you messing with your language?
I didn't know. I'm in Portugal. Of course I asked him in Portuguese. I'm in a Portuguese hotel. I'm going to know he's Spanish. Guess what? They look the same.
Oh.
So I keep thinking about our Portuguese trip, and I'm wondering, I kind of want to go see Porto, visit some of the factories, but then I want to go back to Tomar. You got to see Tomar.
What happened to me?
Tomar, okay, here's the history of Tomar. You remember hearing different stuff about the Crusades, right? Back in the 9th, 10th, 11th century, when there was war with the Muslims back and forth, and they took over parts of Europe, and then they took them back, and they went down to Saudi Arabia and Israel to get back and forth. So when the Crusades went, like King Richard Lionheart, you heard of him, right? Richard III, never heard Richard Lionheart?
Probably.
He led one of the Crusades. He got killed and he's buried. They have shit about where he's buried. But anyway, so they brought back a bunch of riches like on the Third Crusade. And the Pope, you know what the Pope is, right? The head of the Catholic Church. He says, all y'all Crusaders, you need to give all of this stuff you got on the Crusade, you need to give it to the church.
So it's in the church?
The Knights Templar, which is the name for the Crusaders, they said, I don't think so. And the Pope got really mad. He says, I hereby, by verdict or edict or whatever, the Roman Catholic Church, the one church, I declare you all criminals, subject to arrest.
So you take it anyway?
No. And it was like, oh shit, because they couldn't go to France, they couldn't go to Spain. The King of Portugal, Alfonso IV, says, why don't you all come to Portugal? He says, I'll give you this city called Tomar, which means to take. He says, I'll give you this city, Tomar. It has a great view. You can put your castle there and you'll be safe and we'll protect you here in Portugal. So they said, okay, we like that. So they took the treasures and they moved to Portugal. And they built this castle in Tomar.
I could go to the castle?
You go to the castle, you go up on the top, and you can see like freaking 50, 60 miles from the top of the castle.
Can we go now?
Well, not right this second, but yeah, that's one of my places I want to go back to. So, it's something to see. It was converted after the knights died off, and they made a monastery, and then it sat empty for a while. They were in the process of restoring.
Can you say how much I had to pay to get in the castle?
Oh, it wasn't much. I don't remember. It wasn't much at all. But the best part is the little town there. They have all this paraphernalia and goody goods, from the Crusades and everything. But went to a restaurant, got the bacalhau.
Saltfish.
Codfish. Oh my gosh. It was the best codfish I ever had. And they had a list of wines, right? And the wines were like $2.99, $3.50
per bottle.
Per bottle.
Oh wow! We need to go.
The food was good. The wine was good, and it was real. It's a really quaint little town. But they have a whole bunch of these promotional hotels, which I don't include. You get the room, include your tour, or whatever. Blah blah blah. I don't remember.
I don't want a tour from the hotel.
I stayed at the Marriott. They had a Marriott about an hour and a half from there, which I don't know if they still have or not. But anyway, But the other place, of course, is Porto. I've never been to Porto. And the sad thing is, when I was in Lisbon, they had a I don't know what you call it, a convention or what?
Baltimore or you on the tree here?
Where, this tree?
This tree on this side here. Oh no, he just fly away.
No, that's not a
Look
Baltimore.
here,
It's a robin.
look here. What's his name again? The
McCardinal?
cardinal.
Oh, about time
He
you
going
came back.
on.
So, what was I saying?
You was telling me about Lisbon.
Oh, so they came with this night for the sampling the Portos, and I couldn't make it. So I had my sergeant that worked for me. I said, "Man, this is gonna be so great, but I can't make it. I had a meeting or something." I says, "Can you go for me?" He says, "Can I take my wife?" I said, "Yeah, you can take your wife." So the guy goes. Right? He come back and said, "Man, that was terrific." He said, "I never had that stuff before. That stuff was great." My wife and I got looped. It was really good.
Oh God.
Can you just imagine all these different Porto?
Give me your phone. Your phone. Wow. Don't move it. Don't move. Hold that. Listen. The cardinal will fly away.
So they had Sandy Man, they had Fonseca, they had.
Check the lady now. She stand up and she watch and she gone.
Oh. They had all the Taylor Fladgate. They were all there. There was about 20 of them there.
So that means I will have fun.
Well, I don't know. If you go to Porto, you got to go to different places. It's not all in one gathering. There was a special thing they had, a special event that I was invited to. Oh, and one time, as the security...
What is the difference in the currency? Is it same US?
They use euros.
And what is the
It's
difference?
close. I don't know. Last time I heard it was like $1.04 or something like that. It's close.
Oh, okay.
So I get invited to this meeting by the defense minister. I think it was the defense minister, right, in Portugal. And they had the security assistance officers for those countries that had them, and the attachés. So the attaché went, and I went from U.S. And they had a Chinese guy there and everything. That's a funny story. Let me tell you that. Anyway, let me tell you now. This Chinese guy, right, thought he read it. You know, attachés are also like intelligence officers. You knew that, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're intelligence officers as well as representatives. So this Chinese guy trying to milk me for information about, U.S. submarines and stuff.
Oh, shit.
I told him, I says, you want to see state-of-the-art submarines? You know who has them? He goes, I says, North Korea has those midget subs. Blah, 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 blah. And it was all the rage at the time. North Korea made these submarines that are 24 feet long. In other words, from this wall to that wall is the whole submarine.
How much people could fit in that?
They fit about 12 people in there because 10 of them, they laid them on top of each other and they stacked them like firewood. 2 stacks.
Hell no.
But they would go from North Korea down to South Korea. And then when they got to the land, they pull them out so they could go and do mischief. The North Koreans subs did that. And so, at the same time, this came to the attention of Donald Rumsfeld. You heard of him, you saw him on the news, right? The guy who was the youngest and the oldest Secretary of Defense in U.S. history. Donald Rumsfeld? Okay. The guy who says we don't know what we don't know.
Oh, I saw him.
Yeah. So he was all upset, and he sent, one of his missives or his post-it notes. He was famous for his post-it note. Here, send this here, send this here, send this here. And he sent one to us at the office of I'm losing my mind. Where I worked. Anyhow, he says, why is it the Japanese have some 40 different patrol boats dedicated to protecting against North Korean submarines, and South Korea only has 8? He was all upset. because the Japanese had a hell of a lot more money. Just like when the Japanese bought the KDX, well, the Koreans called it the KDX, bought the Aegis-equipped destroyer, okay, from the United States. What did they pay? $1 billion, $2 billion for one or something like that. But then the Koreans went and got like 3 for the same price. And that was a big deal.
Everybody gets overcharged in US.
And they had to have theirs, and they had the design. It was a U.S. design of the submarine. But they insisted their submarine be 2 feet longer than the one the Japanese had. Oh, they hate it. You know that's a rivalry there, like the Spanish and the Portuguese with the Japanese and the Koreans. So I would go to meetings, those international meetings, and I'm sitting there, and if I'm talking to the Koreans and the Japanese came in, they would get up and leave, or vice versa. They wouldn't be in the same room. Just like, there's a rivalry between the Germans and the Italians. Germans hate the Italians because during World War II, the Italians turned on them in the middle of the war. They were allied with the Germans, and then they switched. So the Germans hate the Italians. So we would go to lunch, and we get a group, and we go to invite the German guy. Hey, a bunch of us are going out to lunch. You want to come with us? He said, well, who all's going? And as soon as you told him one of the Italian guys was going, he said, I can't make it. He wouldn't go because the Italian guy was going. Yet they were assigned in Italy as a NATO representative for Germany in Italy, but they wouldn't go to lunch with the Italians. They'd go to work with the Italians because they had to, but they wouldn't go to lunch with them because they hated the Italians. Same with the Dutch and the Germans. The Dutch hate the Germans.
Oh, I had to delete that.
Wow, what did I do? Did I cuss?
No, you didn't cuss. It don't mind?
Don't matter. It's all facts.
Okay.
People might enjoy that.